Hello there, and welcome back to the English Quarters. This is Sir D, and I welcome you to the fourth episode of our Subject-Verb Agreement series. A quick note before we start. Looks like the visual updates to this video are well received. Thank you so much for your continued support. We'll continue to provide you with quality content, as always. But yes, before we move on, here are some reminders. If you find this video interesting, or if you love our content in general, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're doing our best to make more content, so stay tuned. Follow us on social media too. For Facebook, that's at The English Quarters, and for Twitter, that's at English Quarters. If you missed the last episode, or if you want to check out the source document for this series, we got you covered. Those are linked in the description box below. And yes, some final reminders. Please take the lessons at your own pace. Feel free to pause the video when you feel the need to. Remember that subjects will appear in blue and verbs will appear in yellow. And last but not least, please enjoy learning. Well, with things out of the way, let's start. This episode will discuss the rule about intervening expressions. That's rule number 4 on our source document. And I quote, intervening expressions such as along with, as well as, and in addition to, do not affect or change the number of the subject. Wait, Sir D, what are intervening expressions? A good question. Intervening expressions, aka intervening phrases or clauses, are normally put between the subject and the verb. They provide context and /or additional information. They also clarify information in a sentence. Let's look at some examples that contain intervening expressions. The old man wearing sunglasses walks around the neighborhood every single day. Wearing sunglasses is the intervening expression here. It adds information about the old man, which is the subject of the sentence, i.e., the old man is wearing sunglasses. And it is between the subject, man, and the verb, walks. Here's the thing about intervening expressions. They are usually placed after the subject and before the verb. You can remove them from a sentence and the sentence still works. As for me, I just imagine that they're not in the sentence. The old man walks around the neighborhood every single day is still a grammatically correct sentence. Be sure to identify if there is an intervening expression in the sentence, or else you run the risk of mistakenly identifying it, or a part of it, as the subject and letting your verb agree with it. In this case, if you mistakenly identify sunglasses as the subject, you may think that this sentence needs a plural verb, like walk, but it does not. Man is the subject, and because man is singular, it takes a singular verb, which is walks. Got that? Let's proceed. Let's check out the next sentence. The president, as well as the secretary and the general manager, likes to eat in Korean restaurants. Oh, by the way, I like to eat in Korean restaurants too. I miss eating samgyeopsal and jokbal. If someone can send me some, I'd appreciate it. Same rule applies. As well as the secretary and the general manager is the intervening expression. It tells us that the secretary and the general manager enjoy going to Korean restaurants too. But yes, this sentence is primarily about the president, and there's only one president. Because president is a singular subject, it takes a singular verb, which is likes. Another note about intervening expressions. Some of them are easy to identify because of the presence of commas in the sentence. The commas are usually placed after the subject and before the verb. If you see commas in a sentence, it may be a signal that an intervening expression is present. Okay, let's do one last sentence. The boys in the convenience store look pale. Again, same rule applies. In the convenience store is the intervening expression. It tells us where the boys are. This time though, boys is the subject of the sentence. Because boys is a plural subject, it takes a plural verb. One last thing. You can use reasoning, or common sense as some may call it, to correctly identify the subject of the verb. Like this. In the given sentence, who or what can look pale? Boys or convenience store? Probably boys, right? People can look pale, and I mean, I haven't seen a convenience store that looks pale. I guess the color of a convenience store can look pale, but you would normally describe that kind of store as dull, not pale. Anyway, I think that's that. Episode takeaway time. And yes, feel free to check the examples on the screen for details. To see if rule number 4 applies, see if there is an intervening expression in the sentence. It's usually placed after the subject and before the verb. Take note that the verb agrees with the subject, not with the intervening expression. When you remove an intervening expression in a sentence, it still works. It is still grammatically correct. Commas can signify that there is an intervening expression in a sentence. They are usually placed after the subject and before the verb. Also, you can make use of reasoning or common sense to correctly identify the subject of the verb. Alright, that's that. But like last time, let's do some quick exercises to reinforce our learning. You may pause the video to give yourself more thinking time. Answers will be given after 5 seconds. Best of luck! Congratulations! And thank you for finishing episode 4 of this series. So what do you think? Was this episode helpful or interesting in any way? Would you like to share more about the topic discussed in this episode? Tell me more in the comment section below. If you think this episode would be helpful to someone who wants to learn more about the English language, please feel free to share this video and spread the word about our channel. Once again, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, especially if you find this video interesting or if you just love what we do. More videos to come soon. Follow us on social media too. For Facebook, that's at The English Quarters, and for Twitter, that's at English Quarters. Again, this is Soure. Padayon, English learners. God bless you.